Welcome to At the Heart of Caregiving, the podcast for anyone caring for aging loved ones. Whether you're a family caregiver, healthcare pro, or trusted referral partner, we're here to share tips, advice, and real stories to make caregiving less stressful and more rewarding. The voices you'll hear on this podcast are AI generated, but the content is genuine and made just for you. So let's jump in and celebrate the incredible role caregivers play in the lives of seniors. Now, our AI hosts will take it from here.
Welcome back to At the Heart of Caregiving.
Glad to be back.
We're so glad you're joining us for Season 1,
Yeah.
Episode 3.
Episode 3 already.
I know.
Wow.
Time flies when you're having fun.
That's right.
This podcast is dedicated to supporting you throughout your caregiving journey.
Absolutely.
And today,
Yes.
we're diving into a world that could become your new best friend.
Oh,
Caregiving apps.
caregiving apps. That's right. Yeah.
If you are feeling overwhelmed by the sheer amount of information and daily tasks involved in providing care,
I feel ya.
you're definitely not alone.
You are not alone at all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Over 53 million Americans are navigating the caregiving world right now.
Wow. 53 million.
And that's why we're here to help you discover some tools that might make your life a bit easier.
Love that.
Exactly.
We're going to make things easier today.
Both of the articles we're looking at today,
Oh.
apps to help caregivers stay organized, and most useful caregiver apps for 2025, highlight some fantastic options
That's right.
that can streamline your daily routines.
I'm excited to dive into these.
Okay, let's jump right in.
Let's do it.
The first article really paints a picture of what many caregivers experience.
Yes.
And honestly, it's no walk in the park.
Yeah, it's true. The warning signs of caregiver burnout section really resonated with me.
Yeah.
We're talking about potential burnout, financial strain, and even the impact caregiving can have on your personal relationships.
That's a lot.
It is a lot.
So how can apps help with all of this?
Well, what's fascinating is how these apps address such a diverse range of needs.
Okay.
You know, it's not just about reminders,
Right.
although those are super helpful.
Yeah.
It's about creating connections and finding support,
Okay.
managing medications effectively, and even taking care of your own well-being.
It's like having a whole support system right there on your phone.
Exactly. Exactly.
So let's start by looking at some apps that can help with organization and task management.
Love that.
One that stands out in both articles is CaringBridge.
Yes, CaringBridge.
I've heard of that one. What's so special about it?
Think of it as a private online space where you can post updates about your loved one's care.
Okay.
Instead of having to call or text every single person in your circle,
Right.
you can share information with everyone simultaneously.
That sounds like it could save a ton of time and energy.
Absolutely. And it also allows friends and family to offer support and stay connected, even if they can't be there physically.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's really powerful.
it is.
What about an app like Lots of Helping Hands? How does that work?
Lots of Helping Hands takes that concept of community support and makes it even more practical.
Okay.
You can actually delegate specific tasks to people within your network.
So if I need someone to pick up groceries for my mom
Right.
or drive her to a doctor's appointment,
Uh-huh.
I can use the app to organize that.
Exactly. It takes the guesswork out of coordinating help and makes it easier for people to contribute in a way that works for them.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
What about CareZone?
Oh,
It seems to be a popular choice.
Yes, CareZone is a true all-in-one app. It covers appointments,
Okay.
medications, document storage, communication with family and healthcare providers. It's pretty comprehensive.
It's like having a digital command center for all things caregiving.
It really is. You can upload all those important documents and access them from anywhere.
Okay.
Plus, it utilizes cloud storage, meaning your information is secure and easily accessible.
Okay, so we have these specialized caregiving apps.
Yes.
But wouldn't something like a general to-do list app also be helpful?
Absolutely. Both articles mention apps like Evernote and Todoist.
Okay.
They're incredibly versatile.
Okay.
You can use them for everything from jotting down quick notes to creating detailed checklists and reminders.
I love that because sometimes you just need a simple way to keep track of everything that's swirling around in your brain.
Absolutely. And you can even create separate notebooks for each of your loved ones if you're managing care for multiple people.
Okay, so we've covered organization. What about the ever-present challenge of medication management?
You're right. That's a big one. And it can be a real source of stress for caregivers.
Absolutely. You're constantly worried about making sure your loved one is taking the right medications at the right time. It's a lot of responsibility.
It is.
Thankfully, there are apps that can help ease that burden significantly.
Yes.
One that gets high praise is MediSafe.
MediSafe, great app.
I've heard that name before. What makes it stand out?
Well, First and foremost, it's designed to improve adherence, meaning it helps make sure your loved one actually takes their medication as prescribed.
Okay.
It sends reminders, but it also tracks whether the medication was taken.
So it's not just a reminder app. It actually helps you monitor the entire medication process.
Exactly.
Oh.
And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
MediSafe also has a built-in drug interaction checker.
Really?
It uses a comprehensive database to flag any potential conflicts between medications.
Wait, so it could actually prevent a dangerous drug interaction?
It could. Imagine accidentally giving two medications that shouldn't be taken together.
What?
That could have serious consequences, but with MediSafe, you get an alert if there's a potential problem.
That's incredible. Talk about peace of mind.
Right.
But what if you're looking for something a little more straightforward?
Right.
Something less tech-heavy?
Well, for those who prefer simplicity, there's an app called Pill Reminder MedAlarm.
Okay.
It does exactly what the name suggests.
Okay.
You input the medication schedule, and it sends reminders at the designated times.
Simple and effective. I like it.
Yeah.
What about PillPack? That one sounds pretty intriguing.
PillPack takes medication management to a whole new level.
Oh, okay.
Imagine pre-sorted medication packets,
Okay.
each labeled with the date and time delivered right to your door.
Wow.
No more struggling with pill boxes or sorting through bottles.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
It takes so much of the guesswork and hassle out of it.
It really does.
And for those who need even more oversight, there's MedMinder. What's special about MedMinder?
MedMinder offers automated medication dispensers with remote monitoring and alerts. So if a dose is missed, you'll know about it right away.
That level of oversight could be so reassuring for caregivers.
Right.
Especially if they can't be there in person all the time.
Exactly. And speaking of staying connected and informed, let's move on to apps that focus on health monitoring and information management.
Okay.
Remember how we talked about CareZone being a command center?
Yes, I'm really starting to see why it's so highly recommended.
Well, in addition to all those other features, CareZone also allows you to store and manage your loved one's health information.
So instead of having piles of paperwork, I could have everything neatly organized and accessible in one place.
Exactly. Think digital health records, symptom tracking, medication lists, doctor's notes. It's all there. And since it's all stored securely in the cloud, you can access it from anywhere, even share it with other family members or healthcare professionals.
Wow, that would be a game changer for so many caregivers.
Yeah.
What about an app like iHealth My Vitals?
iHealth My Vitals takes health monitoring a step further.
Okay.
It syncs with devices that track blood pressure, glucose levels, and weight.
It's like having a virtual health journal at your fingertips.
Exactly. And you can easily share this data with healthcare providers, giving them a more complete picture of your loved one's health.
Okay, so we've talked about organization, medication management, and health monitoring.
Yes.
But what about the caregiver's own well-being?
Right.
All of this can be incredibly emotionally draining.
You're absolutely right. Caregiving can take a toll on your mental and emotional health.
Yes.
That's why it's so encouraging to see apps like Zenvelo and Talkspace included in these articles.
What do those apps offer?
They provide resources for mental health support.
Okay.
Zenvelo focuses on guided meditations, mood tracking, and cognitive behavioral therapy.
Okay.
Or CBT techniques.
I've heard of CBT, but could you quickly explain what it is for those who might not be familiar?
Of course, CBT focuses on identifying and changing negative thought patterns and behaviors.
Okay.
It's a very practical approach to managing stress, anxiety, and depression.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And what about Talkspace?
Talkspace connects you with licensed therapists for virtual counseling sessions.
Okay.
So you can access professional support from the comfort of your own home.
That's amazing because sometimes you just need someone to talk to, someone who understands the unique challenges of caregiving.
Exactly. And having those resources readily available can make a world of difference.
Yes.
But speaking of connecting and coordinating with others, let's move on to apps that can help streamline scheduling and communication.
Sounds good. I feel like I live by my calendar these days, trying to juggle everyone's appointments and commitments.
I hear you. That's why having a reliable scheduling app is crucial.
Yes.
Google Calendar is a classic for a reason.
Yes.
It's easy to use, and you can share calendars with other caregivers or family members.
So no more back and forth texts trying to figure out who's taking mom to her doctor's appointment next week.
Exactly. Everyone's on the same page, which saves time and prevents confusion.
Right.
And if you're looking for something even more family-oriented, there's an app called Cozy Family Organizer.
Okay. Tell me more about that one.
Cozy takes shared calendars a step further.
Okay.
You can also create shared to-do lists, shopping lists, and even meal plans.
That's awesome. It's like having a virtual family headquarters where everyone can stay organized and connected.
It really is. But what if you find yourself in a situation that requires more specialized support or advice?
That's a great question. What happens when you encounter a challenge that you've never faced before?
Well, there are apps for that, too.
Oh.
One that stands out is Elder 411.
What is Elder 411? I've never heard of it.
Imagine this. You're trying to figure out how to handle a challenging behavior your mom is exhibiting.
Okay.
Or you're navigating the complex world of legal and financial planning.
I can definitely see how those situations would be overwhelming.
Absolutely. So you open up Elder 411 and boom, you have access to expert advice and tips tailored to that specific situation.
It's like having a pocket-sized expert on Call 247.
Yes.
That would be so reassuring, especially for those who are new to caregiving.
Right.
Or facing particularly complex challenges.
Exactly. And then for those specifically caring for someone with Alzheimer's, there's an app called Alzheimer's Caregiver Buddy.
I remember that one from the Most Useful Caregiver Apps for 2025 article.
Yes.
What makes it so helpful?
Alzheimer's Caregiver Buddy offers personalized tips, stress relief strategies, and connections to local resources, specifically for those navigating the world of dementia care.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like having a community of support right there in your pocket.
It really is. And speaking of community, I think it's important to remember that choosing the right apps is a very personal decision.
Yeah.
It's about finding what works best for you and your unique situation.
Absolutely. There's no one-size-fits-all solution here.
Yeah.
You really have to consider your own needs and preferences.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to try out a few different apps before settling on one.
Right.
Many offer free trials so you can get a feel for how they work and see if they're a good fit.
That's great advice. But with so many options out there, it's exciting to know that help is just a download away.
Yeah.
It's not just about the practical aspects of managing tasks and information.
Right.
It's also about the emotional support that these apps can provide.
That's a really insightful observation. And both articles we're looking at touch on that as well.
Yeah.
There's this underlying theme of connection and community building.
Yeah.
It's about helping caregivers feel less alone on this often challenging journey.
Exactly. And I think that's where some of these apps really shine.
Yeah.
Like Caring Bridge, for example.
Sure.
It's not just a platform for sharing updates. It's a way to create a space for people to rally around you and your loved one.
It's like building a virtual support network.
Yeah.
Friends and family can offer words of encouragement, share memories, and even coordinate practical help, all in one central location.
And then there's lots of helping hands, which takes that concept of community support and makes it even more actionable.
Love that.
It removes the awkwardness of asking for help
Yeah.
and allows people to contribute in a way that feels comfortable for them.
Exactly. Sometimes people want to help, but they're not sure how. Lotus Helping Hands provides a clear framework for offering support, whether it's providing transportation, preparing meals, or simply lending a listening ear.
It's all about breaking down those barriers and making it easier for people to connect and support each other.
Absolutely.
And speaking of connecting with others, one of the articles mentions the importance of online support groups for caregivers.
Oh, absolutely. Those can be incredible resources.
Yeah.
They provide a space for caregivers to share their experiences, ask questions, offer advice, and just know that they're not alone in what they're going through.
It's like having a digital shoulder to lean on, a place where you can find empathy and understanding from people who truly get it.
Exactly, because let's face it, caregiving can be isolating at times.
Right.
It's so important to have those outlets where you can connect with others who understand the unique joys and challenges of this role.
You know, another thing that struck me as we were discussing these apps is the focus on personalization. There's this recognition that every caregiving situation is different, and there's no one-size-fits-all solution.
That's a really important point. It's not about finding the perfect app.
Right.
It's about finding the apps that best meet your specific needs and preferences.
Exactly. And the good news is there are so many options out there
So many.
that you're bound to find something that works for you.
You will.
It might take a little bit of trial and error,
Yeah.
but the time you invest in exploring these apps will be well worth it.
Absolutely. And both articles offer some great advice on choosing the right apps.
Oh, okay.
They suggest starting by identifying your biggest pain points,
Okay.
those areas where you feel the most overwhelmed or stressed.
That's a great starting point.
Yeah.
From there, you can narrow down your search based on specific features,
Right.
compatibility with your devices,
Uh-huh.
and even user reviews.
All great tips.
And don't be afraid to try out a few different apps before settling on one.
try before you buy.
Many offer free trials,
That's right.
so you can get a feel for how they work and see if they're a good fit for you.
Exactly.
That's really helpful advice because sometimes it feels like you're just scrolling through endless lists of apps, not knowing where to begin.
It can definitely feel overwhelming.
Right.
But remember, it's all about finding those tools that can truly make a difference in your daily life.
And it's important to remember that these apps are not meant to replace human connection.
Right.
Or take away the personal touch of caregiving.
Absolutely.
They're designed to enhance your experience, streamline tasks,
Uh-huh.
and ultimately create more space for meaningful moments with your loved one.
Beautifully said. It's about finding those pockets of efficiency and support so you can focus on what matters most, providing loving and compassionate care.
And sometimes it's those small moments of efficiency that can make a huge difference in your overall well-being.
Huge.
So remember how we talked about medication management?
Oh, yes. That's one area where apps can really alleviate a lot of stress and worry.
I mean, who hasn't stared at a mountain of medication bottles and felt a wave of panic wash over them?
Yeah, I've been there.
But apps like MediSafe and PillPack take so much of the guesswork out of it,
Right.
making it easier to stay on track and avoid potential mistakes.
And for those who need a bit more structure and support, there's MedMinder with its automated dispensers and remote monitoring.
Right.
It's like having an extra pair of eyes watching over your loved one's medication schedule, even when you can't be there physically.
That level of reassurance can be priceless. And then there's CareZone,
Yes.
which not only manages medications, but also helps you keep track of all those important documents,
Yeah.
appointments, and health records.
It's like having a personal assistant for all things caregiving, all neatly organized and accessible in one central location.
And speaking of organization, let's not forget about the power of a good old-fashioned calendar app.
Oh, absolutely. I can't imagine navigating the world of caregiving without my trusty Google Calendar.
Right.
It keeps me sane amidst all the appointments, visits, and commitments.
I hear you. And if you're looking for something that encompasses the whole family, Cozy Family Organizer takes shared calendars a step further, adding shared to-do lists, shopping lists, and even meal plans.
It's like a virtual command center for the entire family, keeping everyone in sync and organized.
And speaking of keeping things in sync, let's not forget about the importance of self-care for caregivers.
Self-care, yes.
It's so easy to get caught up in the demands of caregiving
right.
and neglect our own well-being.
Absolutely.
That's why apps like Sanvello and Talkspace are such valuable resources.
So important.
They offer accessible mental health support, from guided meditations to virtual therapy sessions,
Yeah.
right at your fingertips.
Right there in your pocket.
It's a reminder that taking care of ourselves is not selfish.
It's not.
It's essential.
It's essential.
Because when we prioritize our own well-being,
Yes.
we're better equipped to care for others.
Couldn't agree more.
We've talked about organization, medication management, support systems, and so much more.
Yeah, it's amazing how technology has really stepped up to support caregivers.
It is.
And we've saved some of the most specialized apps for last.
Okay, I'm excited to hear about these. We briefly touched on Elder 411
Yes.
and Alzheimer's Caregiver Buddy earlier, but I'd love to explore those in more depth.
Yeah, so let's start with Elder 411. Remember how we talked about those challenging situations that pop up unexpectedly in caregiving?
Oh, absolutely. It's like every day brings a new hurdle you never anticipated.
Well, Elder 411 is designed to be your go-to resource for those moments. It's like having a pocket-sized expert available 24/7.
Okay, I'm picturing myself in a moment of panic, not knowing what to do next.
Yeah.
How would Elder 411 help?
Let's say your loved one starts exhibiting some challenging behaviors.
Okay.
Or you're suddenly thrust into making legal and financial decisions you never thought you'd have to make.
Those are definitely situations that can send a caregiver into a tailspin.
Exactly, and that's where Elder 411 comes in.
Okay.
You open the app and you'll find a wealth of expert advice, tips, and resources specifically tailored to that situation.
So it's not just a generic library of information.
No.
It's truly personalized guidance based on your specific needs at that moment.
Precisely. It can walk you through step by step, offering practical strategies and even connecting you with relevant resources in your community.
That's incredible. It's like having a personal caregiving coach right there in your pocket.
Yeah.
And speaking of personalized support, what about Alzheimer's Caregiver Buddy? What makes it so helpful for those caring for loved ones with dementia?
Alzheimer's Caregiver Buddy recognizes that dementia care presents its own unique set of challenges.
Right.
It offers a wealth of personalized tips, stress relief strategies, and even connects you with local resources specifically for Alzheimer's and dementia care.
So it's not just about providing information.
No.
It's about creating a sense of community and support for those navigating this particularly difficult journey.
Exactly. It's like having a community of people who understand exactly what you're going through, offering encouragement, advice, and a sense of shared experience.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I keep coming back to the incredible power of technology to connect and support caregivers.
Yeah.
It's really inspiring.
I agree, and I think it's important to reiterate a key point that both articles emphasized.
Okay.
These apps are tools to enhance your caregiving journey, not to replace the human element of care.
That's such a crucial point.
Yes.
Technology can streamline tasks, provide information, and connect us with others. But it's ultimately about using those resources to provide the best possible care for our loved ones.
Beautifully said. It's about empowering caregivers, not replacing them.
Right.
And remember, choosing the right apps is a very personal decision.
Yeah.
Take your time, explore the options, and find what works best for you and your unique situation.
And don't be afraid to ask for help.
Absolutely.
There are so many resources available both online and in your local community.
Yes.
If you're feeling overwhelmed, reach out. You don't have to do this alone.
Absolutely. And remember, caregiving is a journey, not a destination. There will be ups and downs, challenges and triumphs. But with the right support and resources, you can navigate this path with grace, resilience, and even a sense of joy.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of caregiving apps. We hope you feel empowered and inspired to explore these incredible tools. And remember, you're not alone on this journey.
We're here to support you every step of the way.